Zico is without a doubt more complete than Pelé.
In my eyes, Zico was even greater. The greatest to ever play the game.
If I'm considered the king of football, then without a doubt the prince is Zico.
Zico was my greatest idol in football. I drew inspiration from everything he did on the pitch.
Zico was the greatest player I've ever seen play.
Pelé was the king, Romario, the hero, Ronaldo, the savior. But Zico was the genius football left behind. They say he was the greatest player in history never to win a World Cup. And maybe they're right. But football isn't just about trophies, it's about who changed the game. And Zico changed everything. He was revered around the world, and in Brazil, he was seen as the next Pelé. For the national team, he wore the number 10 with the grace of an artist and the weight of a nation. In 1978, a moment of genius was erased by the referee's whistle. In 1982, he mesmerized the planet with Brazil's most spectacular team. In 1986, with a ruined knee, he entered the field in pain and missed a penalty that would haunt him for decades. But he never ran away. This isn't just the story of a title that never came. It's the story of a genius who deserved more than football ever gave him. Zico doesn't have a World Cup, but the World Cup never had anyone like Zico.
To me, Zico is the greatest footballer of all time. In my eyes, Zico was even greater.
Before he became a legend, he was just Arthur Antunes Coimbra, a skinny kid born on March 3rd, 1953, in the working-class neighborhood of Quintino, in the north zone of Rio de Janeiro. But Brazil would never call him that. From the beginning, he was Zico. He was the rooster. The nickname came from his swagger, his stubbornness, and his ever-raised head. While others chased the ball, he made the ball chase him. He was different, effortlessly natural. The talent was there, raw but undeniable. Football was the language spoken in their home. His father, Antunes, was a former amateur footballer. But among the brothers, only one had that rare spark, that brilliance of the chosen ones. Zico. At 13, he was so frail that people said he'd never survive the professional game. He was nearly rejected by Flamengo. The radio commentator Celso Garcia, who had taken him to try out at the club, was told by the skeptics, "He's too weak. He won't last a tackle." He lacked strength. He lacked physique. He lacked everything except willpower. That's when Flamengo took a chance on him. With the help of fitness coach José Roberto Francalacci, Zico followed a strict and intense training regime. He ran uphill with weights strapped to his back. He trained before others arrived and long after they left. In 2 years, he gained 11 kilograms of muscle and 10 centimeters in chest width. He wasn't just training. He was sculpting his body the way he sculpted his plays, with science and effort. Deep down, he was certain of one thing. He belonged to the game. Slowly, he became an obsession at Flamengo's training ground. His technique was absurd, his vision otherworldly, his shot lethal. Flamengo realized this wasn't just a talented kid, this was a phenomenon in the making. Zico wasn't born ready, he built himself, and that's why his story begins unlike most legends. He wasn't discovered, he refused to be ignored, and no one knew it yet. But that skinny kid from Quintino was about to write one of the most beautiful and most painful chapters in Brazilian football history.
To me, Zico is the greatest footballer of all time. Zico was more complete than Pelé.
Zico made his professional debut in 1971, at 18 years old. The jersey was heavy, the responsibility massive, but it only took a few matches for the Maracanã to realize this kid was a leader. With goals, dazzling assists, and flawless free kicks, Zico won over the most demanding crowd in the country. And more than that, he started transforming Flamengo. In the 1970s, the club was still seeking its place among the greats. But with Zico, everything changed. He rose, and the club rose with him. Brazil saw an idol being born. Rio saw a god descend. Came the state titles, the national titles, came the golden generation, Junior, Leandro, Adilio, Andrade, and at the heart of it all, Zico, the maestro. But before the glory came the first scar. The 1978 World Cup was supposed to be the start of his coronation. Instead, it ended with an invisible blow. In Brazil's opening match against Sweden, Zico scored a game-winning header from a corner in the final seconds. But the Welsh referee, Clive Thomas, blew the whistle while the ball was still in the air. The goal was disallowed, a World Cup injustice. Brazil would finish the tournament unbeaten, but only in third place. Zico returned home with a bitter lesson. At the World Cup, the game is different. He responded the only way he knew, by playing even better. In the following years, Flamengo became a giant, and in 1981, they reached the pinnacle. Flamengo won the Libertadores in an epic battle against Cobreloa. Then they flew to Japan to face European giants Liverpool, undefeated for months. The British press called them unbeatable, but Zico never read the script. On December 13, 1981, he gave a masterclass. He didn't score, but created every goal. His passes set up Nunes and Adilio. He was named man of the match, and more importantly, he earned the respect of the world. That day, he became a living legend. And yet, something was still missing. Because in Brazil, eternity comes at a high price. You can be loved, worshipped, even deified, but you'll only be consecrated if you win with the national team.
Zico was more complete than Pelé. In my eyes, Zico was even greater.
Tele Santana was the conductor, Zico the leader, and around him a constellation. Socrates, Falcão, Cerezo, Junior, Éder. It was as if Brazil had summoned the gods of art to play football, and they played like they were dancing. The team, enchanted, put on a show, turned every match into theatre. It was football in its purest form, so beautiful, it felt inevitable. The campaign began like a dream. 3 wins, 11 goals. Zico was on fire. Goals, assists, genius in motion. The world bowed to that football. The 1982 World Cup seemed written for him, his coronation. Then came Italy, and with them, Paolo Rossi, a name Zico would never forget. That day, football defied logic. Brazil attacked, dominated, dazzled, but Italy scored 3 times, each goal a stab to the heart. Zico was hounded by Claudio Gentile, who had one mission: stop him at all costs. Fouls, pulls, even a ripped jersey, no whistle. But Zico endured. He assisted Socrates' goal. He fought until the end. It wasn't enough. Brazil lost 3-2, and the dream died. The country went silent. It was supposed to be his World Cup, his crowning moment. Instead, it became a curse. And yet, something changed. In that heartbreaking loss, a legend was born. Because even in defeat, greatness can't be erased.
To me, Zico is the greatest footballer of all time.
After the heartbreak of 1982, Zico did something few idols in their prime would dare. He left Flamengo, his kingdom, to prove himself in the toughest place on earth, Italian football. But he didn't join a giant. He went to Udinese, a small team that had never dreamed of having the best player in the world. In Udinese, he wasn't just signed, he was embraced. And on the pitch, the magic continued. Zico finished as Serie A's second top scorer, just 1 goal behind Platini. He did the impossible, turned a modest team into contenders. But one genius alone can't win a war. Udinese was Zico and 10 others. It wasn't enough, so he returned home, and the Maracana welcomed him back. But destiny had one more cruel blow. August 29, 1985, a match against Bangu. A brutal tackle by defender Marcio Nunes shattered his knee. Zico fell, and Brazilian football held its breath. His ligaments were torn. Doctors were doubtful. At 32, the genius was broken, but Zico was made of something else. He began a grueling recovery. Surgeries, pain, endless therapy. He wasn't fighting for a trophy, he was fighting for the right to play. His obsession had a name, the 1986 World Cup. Coach Tele Santana stayed loyal and called him up. Even knowing he wasn't fully fit, Zico traveled to Mexico a shadow of his former self. A king in exile, watching from the bench. Then came the quarter-final against France. The match was tied 1-1. High tension. In the second half, Tele turned to the bench and called his number 10. A nation held its breath, write the perfect ending. He took the ball, the weight of the world on his shoulders. He ran up, and Joel Batz saved it. Silence. The man who never ran from responsibility faced his loneliest moment. Brazil would lose on penalties, and Zico, who came in as salvation, left with a scar that never healed. That missed penalty would haunt him forever, proof that his story with the World Cup was cursed. His days in Brazil seemed over, the knee pain a constant reminder of battles past. But football still had one final act for him, not to heal the past, but to build the future. Japan. In 1991, Zico shocked the world by joining Sumitomo Metals, a second division team in a country with no football tradition. That team would later become Kashima Antlers. To the Japanese, it was as if a god descended from Olympus. But Zico didn't come just to play. He came to teach. He taught the basics, how to pass, how to shoot. But more importantly, he taught professionalism, discipline, work ethic, respect for the shirt. He arrived early, left late, led by example. Zico wasn't a star, he was a sensei. With him, Japanese football was born. The J-League launched in 1993, with Zico as its face, its soul. Kashima Antlers became a powerhouse, and the god of football, as he became known, was their greatest idol. Statues were raised in his honor. His name became synonymous with football. If Brazil denied him the World Cup, Japan gave him something perhaps even greater: a legacy. He didn't bring a trophy to a nation, he brought them the entire sport. The seed he planted blossomed. Japan became a permanent fixture on the global stage. Far from home, Zico found redemption. He didn't erase the scars, but he gave them meaning. Zico's story forces us to ask, what truly defines greatness? Is it the glory of a trophy or the beauty of the journey? He was the maestro of an unfinished symphony, the hero of an unrewarded sacrifice, the genius football at times didn't deserve. Zico never needed a World Cup to be eternal because his greatness doesn't fit in a trophy. It lives in his perfect free kicks, in the memory of that 1981 Flamengo, in the myth of the 1982 Seleção, and in the heart of a nation on the other side of the world that learned to love football because of him. Zico doesn't have a World Cup, but the World Cup never had anyone like Zico.